Would you say I told you so? Oh, I told you so.
Hey everyone, it's William Moore, and this is Beyond the Ties That Bind. Thanks for joining me. I hope that everybody's having a great day. Wanted to just touch on what happened today. Wow. And I told you so. If you remember a few days back, probably around the 12th, the 13th, sometime last week, I stated to look for more 1,000 point drops, a 2,000 point drop, and possibly a 3,000 point drop. Today we had a 3,000 point drop in the Dow. Also, I said, look for the Fed to step in and take us to negative interest rates. Well, we're one step closer to that because today Jerome Powell took the Federal Reserve interest rates to 0. This is getting interesting, but it's also getting scary. Also want to point out that when Trump was making his speech and he had all of these people, these CEOs from different corporations there, and he had Fauci there, he made a statement. He said that 5 million test kits have been ordered, but he does not think that that many will be needed. Why? If this is going to kill millions of people, if millions of people are going to contract this virus, then why are only 5 million test kits ordered and not going to need that amount of test kits? It's just a question I have. Also, you have everything coming out in increments of 2 weeks. You have, people talking about social distancing, which I practice myself quite well. But you have people talking about social distancing, 2 weeks. We're going to shut down the MLB for 2 weeks, postpone the first game of baseball. We're going to shut down the NHL for 2 weeks. We're going to shut down schools for 2 weeks, restaurants 2 weeks, theaters 2 weeks. If this virus is so dangerous and we're just now getting started, why aren't these quarantines and these measures indefinite? Not that I want them to be indefinite, but it just doesn't make sense because, as I stated before, I think we're going to wake up one day and have one of these, and then just like that, the coronavirus disappeared moments, but the repercussions we're still going to be living with because of all of these shutdowns. We are not having money run through the system. It would not surprise me if we do not see another 2,000, 3,000 point drop on the Dow. It would not surprise me if the Dow goes down to around 15,000 points. Money is not being transferred through the system except for toilet paper and food items. But you have nobody filling up their tank because people are working from home. People are not shopping. They're not buying clothing. They're not going to sporting events. They're not going to restaurants. We're losing a lot of money that is usually spent within the system. And even before the coronavirus, that was weak spending. But now it's even worse. So we're going to be, seeing a lot of repercussions. And I think things on the economic level are going to get worse. They've launched a war with this coronavirus, and they've created this invisible enemy that cuts through all political alliances. It's got the Democrats and the Republicans scared. Everybody's joining together, at least the sheeple are, and then we're going to do what the government tells us to do, and we're going to fight this virus. Turn on the news at 5 o'clock and see what the next freedom is that Trump wants us to give up, and we're going to gladly do it, Republican or Democrat, because that's the patriotic thing to do. Also, little disclaimer here, if you're just tuning in to watch me to pick up on things that I say, thinking that, you're going to use them against me or something, people who wouldn't even hardly talk to me in public, but tuning in to see every little thing that I have to say now, shut it off. Go somewhere else. Watch your Bugs Bunny or I Love Trump shows. Anyway, the great H.L. Mencken, He's a classical liberal when such creatures actually, when they still existed. He once wrote, "The whole aim of practical politics is to keep the populace alarmed and hence clamorous, to be led to safety by an endless series of hobgoblins, most of them imaginary." So true. And, practical politics right now, keeping the populace alarmed, the fourth establishment, the media, keeping the populace alarmed. They're clamorous. They want to be led to safety. And you have an endless series of hobgoblins, the economy, it's the virus, so much going on. And people are living in fear right now. And it has an effect on those that don't live in fear that saw this coming. Because now we have to be out there in the mix fighting for things that we need, going out on your regular shopping day now, and you have to, you know, uh, contend with people who are there hoarding. But anyway, I think I touched on it. In the Midwest right now, it's more of a preparation type of spirit. I do see videos though on the East and West Coast where people are just going bonkers, fighting over things like toilet paper, bottles of alcohol. It's crazy. And fear has taken hold, and the sheeple are doing exactly what the government wants the sheeple to do: act in fear. So, John Rappaport, which I've mentioned here on this program a few times now, probably one of the only solid voices of reason out there. He is saying that presumptive cases of the virus are being lumped together with actual cases. To say that any reported numbers are unreliable in such a scenario is to put it mildly. But it may be worse than that. Somebody is talking about a conversation that took place with the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and this person from the CDC admitted there's no present test for COVID-19. So if that claim is true, then exactly how are people being diagnosed as having COVID-19? So is every case presumptive? Also, with any test, you have to be able to identify if the virus is mutating. Because if the virus is not mutating, that means that the person's immune system has already defeated the virus, but those people are still being diagnosed with the coronavirus, even though their body's immune system has already defeated it. And they're being told, well, you're ill, you have it, you have to quarantine. Even though if their immune system has defeated it, them being out in public would help with what is known as herd immunity, which I'll go into later, another show about herd immunity. Yeah, look it up. Look up herd immunity. And if I remember, I'll leave a link in the description concerning herd immunity. So in 2009, the U.S. was hit hard with the swine flu. Barack Obama, he's universally praised for his response, did nothing until 4,000 Americans had already died. And that's when he declared a national emergency after 4,000 people had died. The CDC claimed that 59 million Americans contracted the disease, 265,000 were hospitalized, and over 12,000 died. As of now, headlines trumpet that the U.S. death toll rises to 62. So the numbers are not justifying the reaction we've seen on part of the leaders, the news media, and the public. So they don't seem to qualify, this super virus as a pandemic. The numbers just aren't there, people. This virus has to get 90 times stronger or have a 90 times more devastating effect than it has now to even equal seasonal flu numbers. So then you have Bill Gates fantasizing about 33 million dying from this pandemic. That idiot. Then there's the constant drumbeat in response to the low numbers thus far. People saying, well, this is a super virus. It can't be stopped and things are going to get much worse. It's coming for you, man. So media outlets who've irresponsibly revved up the fear have the audacity to run articles with headlines like 5 reasons why coronavirus is way worse than you've been led to believe. And then Anthony Fauci in the Trump administration, it's weird to say, but you look at how Obama handled swine flu, and it makes you wish for the good old days of the Obama administration. But anyway, Fossey, he declares things will get worse than they are right now. Based on the progression thus far, these sentiments simply aren't justified, people. So he's saying, based on the progression thus far, it's going to get much worse. Things are going to get much worse than what they are now. Based on what's going on, these sentiments simply aren't justified. So, are they talking about the virus or how the government's cracking down on our freedoms? Is that what they're talking about? It's getting worse. So, we have a grave situation here as far as the economy's concerned. And I could make some more predictions and more would be willing to says, but I'm scared of those actually coming true. I have an idea of what's going to happen. I have an idea of some things that are going to happen within the next week. Yes, the economy is going to start spiraling out of control even more as we see business after business shut down. Some businesses, they stated in an article that I was reading about 6 months ago, most businesses couldn't take a week shutdown, much less a 2 week shutdown, without having some type of dramatic economic negative impact on the business. So, here we're talking 2 weeks. You're going to see a lot of places shut down. As I stated, I think the Dow is going to 15,000. I think people who are in the market are going to lose a lot more money than what they've already lost. I think the best thing, if I were people who were, and I was driving to Edward Jones, I would make a U-turn and go to the nearest coin shop and start purchasing silver and gold. Because even though silver and gold are going down right now, they're being artificially suppressed. They will have their breakout moment. And it's always insurance, because gold will buy today what it bought yesterday, and it will buy tomorrow what it will buy today. Same with silver. It's real money. So when gold and silver have that breakout moment, a lot of people are going to be sitting pretty. So anyway, people, don't look to Trump, don't look to government. They're just going to tell you about the next hobgoblin around the corner. They're going to take away your freedoms more and more. I say, Viva la France! Today in France, protesting the quarantine, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets of Paris and told the government, hell no, we won't go inside our houses and stay. So, be like France. The French get a lot of bad publicity, but actually they're some of the most revolutionary people on the face of the planet, and definitely the most revolutionary in Europe. But anyway, watch out, some terrible things coming. And I did say that we would probably see the industrial military complex firing up the war machine. I said that a little less than a week ago. I said it would happen within 30 to 60 days. I still feel that that's going to happen. You have the World Monetary Fund, or the International Monetary Fund, came out and said that they are going to pump $1 trillion into the world economy. Okay, answer me this question, IMF. If 1.5 trillion didn't help the American economy, how is 1 trillion going to help the world economy? But anyway, look for some plays by the IMF. We're going to see some currency resets. I don't know if this is going to lead to a cashless type of reset, to where on the other side of the reset we do not have paper currency anymore. Nobody knows. You can make a guesstimate. You can make an educated guess. And, a lot of people are saying it's going to be a one world currency. Right now, nationalism is actually rising, where globalism is actually hurting over this virus. And now, it's hurting even more so as people are starting to catch on to, you know, this being some type of operation, covert operation. So anyway, this is William Moore for Beyond the Ties That Bind. I hope that everybody has a great week, no matter what happens with the economy. Look to your creator. Don't look to man. Peace.